I remember it like it was yesterday. In the late 90s, the independent movement woman was going strong. In the early 90s, singers like Mary J. Blige and you had rappers like MC Lyte, they were coming with it, right? And they were telling women, you can do bad all by yourself. They don't really need a man. There was TLC that came in the 2000s with No Scrubs, and women all across the world were listening to what they were saying, especially women in the black community. Then fast forward, Dima, in the mid 2000s, in the early 2000s to the mid 2000s, like 2010s, it kept getting worse. The marriage rate was going down. Women were out there like doing very well for themselves, buying houses, buying cars, getting into professional school. It was all great. But then there became the epidemic of more single mothers. Baby crying in the face. Fast forward again. Now we're in 2022, and those ladies at that time are now in their 40s and 50s. And being able to just deal with whatever guy they want and waiting to the last minute to get married, it didn't work out so well. In fact, it became quite bad. A lot of women in their late 30s and 40s ended up with kids, no husbands, got stuck with all the bills, and their baby daddies ended up remarrying and ended up being happy while they got stuck with the kids. But now those women, some of them, are singing a different tune. They no longer want to be what they used to be, independent women. They are now trying to be pick-me's. But what is a pick-me anyway? Play that clip.
A pick-me girl is a girl who goes out of their way to impress boys and make them seem that they're not like other girls, aka an N-log, if you've heard that term. Kind of like a simp, but for girls. Otherwise known as internalized misogyny. Not the easiest to explain, but when you see one, you'll know she's one for sure. Usually does this to be accepted by boys and be considered one of the good ones. If you say one of these things, congratulations, nobody likes you. Straight from the Urban Dictionary. So we've all come across a pick-me girl. We've all been a pick-me girl to some extent, maybe when we're younger. So we are aware of what they are. You might call them not like other girls, N-logs, or pick-me girls, kind of the same thing. Pick-meism, pick-me girls, is definitely rooted in internalized misogyny. This idea that like, I'm not like those girls because being like those girls or having these sorts of feminine traits is a bad thing. But I'd go as far as to saying like, in a psychological kind of viewpoint, what links pick-me's to the pick-me accusers is this desire to be accepted and validated by the group that you are trying to impress. So the pick-me's are trying to impress the men, and the pick-me accusers, I would argue, are trying to get validation from that group of, I don't know what they might be, like people that hate men or people that hate pick-me's, whatever, that you're still trying to get validation and acceptance. So there's a link. So if you accuse me of being a pick-me, I would take your pick-me accusation, I would Uno, flip it and reverse it, and I would say, you're the pick-me.
I want to give a shout out to Adela Afadi for that great explanation. Check her out here on YouTube. That was a great breakdown. And you're starting to see more of these women come online. Now, I don't know if these women were always like wanting to be a pick-me, as these women would call them. I believe it's women who want to be with men and are tired of living a lifestyle like by themselves or being in the streets. And there's a great indicator. Shout out to Brother Kelvin for sending me this video. You have a beautiful influencer who seems to be in her late 30s, early 40s, who's also tired of being in the streets. Let's hear her say it for herself.
And I'm out the streets. Y'all can have the streets. Y'all can have the streets. I ain't built for the streets, baby. I ain't built for the streets. I'm supposed to be cooking dinner and making lunches for the next morning and sucking dick, and I ain't built for the street. I ain't built for that. I'm supposed to be helping you with your schedule and trying to see if you're going to be able to travel with me to this event or if you're going to meet me there or like what. Listen, I ain't built for the streets. I ain't built for the streets. I ain't built for that. I'm trying to make you come and then ask you like how you want these eggs so I can feed you before you go. to the office? And do you want biscuits or do you want croissants? How you want your turkey bacon? You want extra crispy this time? You want it almost burnt a little bit? What you want? You want...
So this is I am Jane Nasura. Check her out on Instagram. I don't know what she does. It looks like some kind of healing. Good looking lady. And I don't know if she's talking about herself. It seems like she is, or if she could be meaning third person, but it's supposed to be herself, I believe. And what she's saying is like, look, I want to be a wife. Maybe I've tried being an independent woman before, and not to say that she didn't have success in being a hustler or being, whatever she was doing. But dealing with different guys that might not have been serious, guys that are not investing in you, guys who are not wanting to see you grow, those are bad relationships, even though you have the power to do so. And she's a very attractive lady, but there is no development. Relationships take time. And you're hearing more ladies come out and say, listen, I want to help a man. I want to be submissive to a man. I want to serve a man. And you know what? Women are getting criticized for that. But here's what I want to ask the people who have a problem with pick-me's. What do you call men who go out and do everything for their women, provide for their women, and really don't get nothing in return? Do you call those men pick-me's? No, I'm gonna tell you why you don't call those men pick-me's. Because it is completely okay for men to go out, provide for women, take care of women, get nothing. Like, don't expect me to cook or clean for you. Don't expect me to have sex with you. In fact, you might be in a sexless relationship, but you're supposed to do everything that I say. Your role hasn't changed since 1949. And I always use that year. That was the year my grandfather got baptized at the Macedonia Baptist Church in Richmond, California, at 1949. His role in 1949 and my role today hasn't changed. But women serving men, it has changed. Women don't have to serve men anymore. And they think that being for the streets and being an independent woman is going to attract men to want to serve them, want to get into relationships and spend their money and sacrifice their life earning to take care of a woman who doesn't feel like she needs to give you anything because she doesn't want to be called a pick-me. But it's not being called a pick-me when men are breaking their backs, doing everything for their kids, working, being unhealthy, dying early for a woman who might not appreciate it. I'm not saying women don't appreciate it, but some people don't appreciate it. And what you're seeing is men have responded in a way, which I think is genius. A lot of men are not even complaining about women who have that mindset. Women who have that mindset, like, I'm for the streets, I could do whatever I want. Most men are not getting online complaining about that. What are men doing? Men are just simply not investing their time and their long-term efforts into those women because it doesn't get you anything in return. Why would you make such a decision? And now you're seeing women saying, okay, well, I've tried it my way, but it's not a bad thing if a man, if he's a good man, he's helping me. I'm helping organize his life. He's giving me that masculine strength. He's giving me that manpower in the relationship. Maybe he has a network of male business partners or a community of other people that I can be a part of, and that can change my life. And a lot of women in the Black community are not used to having that. They're not used to having a man that has business partners or in the industry that she can benefit off of and plug her into the system that helps her right away. She's not used to that. But I think that if you have more women out there who understood, like, hey, ain't anything wrong for me investing into a man and getting a lot out of it versus me investing everything into myself and getting nothing out of it that I want. No, I'm tired of being in the streets. I want to be a man's wife. I want a man to have provision for me. I want a man to help make my life easier. I want a man to love me. Nothing is wrong with that. But the problem is that you need to give something back also. And I think that what she's saying is true. A lot of women are waiting until they get their old, till they get 30 and 40 to figure that out. The problem is that now you're competing against women that are 20 in their 20s rather. Women of all races. So by the time most women figure it out, they may have 1 or 2 or 3 kids, and they might be disqualified by some of the better kind of men. So again, shaming women who want to be traditional wives or who want to help their men, I think is wrong. It's definitely wrong. And once they get 40 or 50 and nobody wants to help them and they're single struggling, then that's when they're going to the state to ask for help. But guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe, hit the bell. I'm out.